Hello everyone, we are Daniela Duque, Juliana Rodriguez, and Ismael Salazar, and today we're going to talk about the failure FDI case Best Buy in China. First of all, we're going to talk about some brief history and some facts about the company. Best Buy was founded in 1966 by Richard Schull and James Wheeler. First, it was called Sound of Music before the name changed to Best Buy in 1983. Its headquarters are located in Ridgefield, Minnesota, United States. Best Buy contains both domestic and international segments. The domestic is made up by 90% of the retail's total sales, focused only in the United States. Meanwhile, the international segment, that composes about 10% of the total revenue, are present both in Canada and Mexico. Currently, their annual revenue is, as of 2020, is 40 billion US dollars. It's important to highlight that this is only the domestic revenue. Also, they have 1,010 stores within the United States and 220 stores internationally. The company generates 45% of its total revenue from computers and phones. 33% of its revenue comes from consumer electronic sales. Appliances represent 10%, entertainment 5%, and services 5%. It's also important to highlight that they have many companies, and the most popular are Best Buy Mobile, ST, Geek Squad, Lively, and Magnolia. The stores sells electronic gadgets, wearables, tablets, movies, music, computers, mobile phones, and appliances. They have 2.3 million staff members, which give solution to technology products 24/7. They also set up the Great Call provider, in which they give solutions to tech problems worldwide. Best Buy is the largest specialty retailer in the United States and the consumer electronics retail industry. Best Buy ranked number 72 in the 2018 Fortune 500 list of the largest U.S. corporations by total revenue. Although they are one of the number one U.S. companies, their luck hasn't been the same internationally, because first of all, they had to close operations in 2011 in China, and second, they closed operations in 2012 in Europe, only leaving offices and stores in the UK. This means that their largest market is still the United States.
Internationalization strategy. Best Buy entered the Chinese market via foreign direct investment by the acquisition of most shares of Jinsu five-star retail chain that was valued for $180 million. This was the fourth major largest retailer by market capitalization in China. After that, they invest $122 million worth of capital. They created sourcing offices in Shanghai and Beijing in 2003 with the purpose of making new connections for suppliers. Then they partnership with five-star retailer to use their local connections and suppliers. In 2006, the company used the greenfield mode of entry and opened their first Best Buy store that followed their own US business model. The foreign operational method challenges that Best Buy presented was mainly that Best Buy did not have many local networks and connections to make business. However, Best Buy expansion was slow and was not running as smoothly as anticipated. One drawback was that the company figured out late that their acquisition was not the best foreign operational method, and implemented greenfield operational method late. The lack of previous experience affected Best Buy operations as their two main competitors, Gome and Suning, both have many local strong suppliers within provinces to support their businesses. However, as a newcomer, Best Buy did not have many local networks to help the company grow. Because of cultural differences, Best Buy faced many challenges in China. One was employee relationships, as in the US, employees rarely work in a hierarchical way. However, is not necessarily the case in China. For Best Buy, low hierarchy facilitates innovation among employees in the US, and by enabling innovation that could help the company achieve sustainable competitive advantages that was not possible in China. Also, the company presented an executive turnover from the former CEO of Best Buy in China that left the company, and the new management formed new strategies that were followed immediately. However, the increased coordination and control costs affected the company operation. Finally, the geographic expansion made Best Buy lose its flexibility and responsiveness to the shifting in the customer preferences.
Now it's time to talk about the international activities of the company. It's important to state that Best Buy has tried to have an expansion to many countries around the world. However, this has failed over the last decades. Some of the most important forms of expansion include mergers, acquisitions, and FDI. From 2001 to 2002, Best Buy acquired the Best Buy Future Shop Ltd based on the Canadian British Columbia. The deal was for $377 million, and as for 2002, they opened its first store in Mississauga, Ontario. In 2003, the company opened its first global sourcing office in Shanghai, China. In 2006, the company purchased assets in the Chinese appliance retailer Jiangsu Five-Star Appliance for $180 million. It was the fourth largest appliance chain in China and had more than 193 stores in China. In 2007, the first Best Buy store is officially opened in Shanghai, China. In 2008, their first store is opened in Puerto Rico and in Mexico. In 2009, they opened their first store in Izmir, Turkey, and currently the company has stores in Turkey. And in 2009, Best Buy bought the assets of the Carrefour warehouse in London, England in 2008 and Ireland in 2009. Finally, in 2010, they opened the first Best Buy store in Thurrock, the UK. They eventually opened 11 stores and bought Carrefour warehouse as a joint venture. In 2011, Best Buy closes all of its stores in China and sells its company to Mindshift Technologies for $167 million. In 2013, Best Buy closes its European markets and remains only in the UK. Sells 50% of the Carrefour warehouse as the sale was of $775 million. It's important to highlight that Best Buy isn't the company that has most international activities because it has to close many of its international points. So this has had a direct effect on the company. Currently, the company has international presence in 4 countries, in Turkey, Canada, the UK, and Mexico. And this represents, although it represents a large revenue of the stores, it doesn't represent as much as their sales points in the US.
Now we are going to continue talking about the use of the FOM. In the case of Best Buy, they decided to enter the Chinese market and they made few efforts to develop their business model in 2005 in the form of foreign direct investment. At the beginning, they opened a sourcing office in Shanghai with the aim of studying the market. Then they made foreign acquisition by buying a majority stake from Jiangsu Five-Star Appliance that was positioning as the Chinese fourth largest consumer electronics retailer. 1 year later, in 2006, they used the greenfield investment as an alternative to open their first store. This process allowed Best Buy to take their business model in China. Their main purpose was to run their business under the American way, thinking that they could replicate all their methodology into the Asian market. In spite of their major efforts to continue expanding and opening new stores, they realized that the commercialization of their products was not growing as expected by the company. Analyzing the causes why this FDI was not successful, we can say that it was due to these three main reasons. The first one is because of piracy in the country, which represents a strong competition in prices and also their tendency to copy the exact electronic products. Likewise, the Chinese consumers tend to be sensitive buyers, and in comparison to the market, the Best Buy prices were not competitive. The middle class in the country is usually willing to pay premium prices when they are looking for well-known brands. However, the enterprise failed to explain to their audience the benefits of buying these kind of products. Besides, the company failed in developing some operational formats that could help it to lower their prices instead of increasing them, as it was in the case of Best Buy owning entire showrooms, an option that comes with expenses such as employee wages and inventory management. The best that they could do to save some money was renting out a space to individual manufacturers, which is a format that many retailers use in China with the objective of not higher their prices. In consequence of these challenges that Best Buy was facing, in 2011 they decided to shut down their operations and all the stores around China. At that moment, the company was not able to continue and the slow pace of growth was unsustainable. Well, and to conclude, we can say that the Chinese market, without doubts, is an enormous and growing market with a bunch of opportunities for the companies that are willing to take the challenge of studying and adapting their model into the Asian requirements. In our opinion, we can say that the FOM chosen by Best Buy was proper. They followed some steps necessary to make a foreign direct investment. However, they didn't take into account the cultural differences and realized that they had to make some changes in their business model to fulfill the market requirements. It was going to be almost impossible to replicate their same business model in this country if they would like to gain market share. It is a fact that the way that companies operate in China is very distant from the American way, and Best Buy was too confident on their international strategy. In this way, we can say that Best Buy's expansion was slow and was not running as smoothly as anticipated. And the suggestion that we can make for them is that they could have took more time on the market analysis by spending more time on the process of foreign acquisition so they could take advantage of this model and start gaining some market share while they were improving their cultural knowledge. For then, when they feel ready to make a greenfield investment, they could have a wider experience on how the Chinese market works. And that's all. These are the references that we use for the work, and thank you.